Welcome the students of class 8. Welcome to our social science history class. And today in this class, we are going to discuss the chapter 6 of your new NCERT book, question answers, and it is also present in your old NCERT book 2 and chapter number 7. Okay, and the name of the chapter is Weavers, Iron Smelters and Factory Owners. Okay, so let's begin the question and answers. So look at the first question number 4. It is also related to your syllabus, that who are the Agaria? And the answer is Agaria are a community from Chhattisgarh, and they were the expert iron smelters in the Chota Nagpur plateau. Okay. So students, there are another 3 questions, question number 1, 2 and 3, but those topics are not present in your syllabus. So that's why I am not giving the answer of these questions. I am mentioned only those question and answers, those will come in your upcoming examination, PT2 and as well as term 2 examination. Okay, so as per the CBSE, you know that we have already reduced the syllabus. Okay, and the portion I have taught, only that portion will come in examination. So the next one from your syllabus, it is a question number 5, fill in the blanks. So the first question is, the word chins comes from the word dash, and the answer is the word chins come from the word chit. Okay, word chit. B, Tipu's sword was made of dash steel, and the answer is Tipu's sword was made of wood steel. Okay, WOOTZ. Next, number C, India's textile exports declined in the dash century. India's textile exports declined in the 19th century. Okay, so these are the answers of fill in the blanks. Next, question number 7. It is also related to your topic, that why did the wool and silk producers in England protest against the import of Indian textiles in the early 18th century? And the answer is, textile industry had just begun to develop in England in the early 18th century. That's why the wool and silk producers in England protested against the import of silk textiles in the early 18th century, because they found themselves unable to compete with the Indian textiles that were available in fine quality and at low prices in the market. They influenced the British government to put a ban on Indian textiles to secure their business in England. Therefore, they protested against its import. Okay, so this is the answer of question number 7. Next, question number 8. And the question is, how did the development of cotton industries in Britain affect textile producers in India? And the answer is, cotton industries in Britain developed and adversely affected textile producers in India in several ways. Number 1, export of textiles to England became more and more difficult because of the British government imposed very high duties on Indian textiles. Point number 2, in the beginning of 19th century, Indian textiles faced competition from British textiles, and cotton textiles made in Britain successfully ousted Indian goods from their traditional markets in Africa, America and also in Europe. Number 3, thousands of weavers in India, including the weavers of Bengal, were now thrown out of employment because English and other European companies stopped purchasing Indian goods. Their agents no longer gave out advances to weavers to secure supplies. This is also another reason for the decline of Indian cotton textile industry. And number 4, by the 1830s, British cotton cloth flooded Indian markets. Actually, by the 1880s, 67% of the cotton cloths owned by Indians were made of cloth produced in Britain. This affected not only the specialist weavers but also thousands of spinners and other people those are involved with the textile industry, such as the colorist, the rangres and others. So that's all from the question number 8 answer. Now question number 9, and the question is, why did the Indian iron smelting industry decline in the 19th century? So there are several reasons. Number 1, the new forest laws of the colonial government prevented people from entering the reserve forests. Now it became difficult for the iron smelters to find good quality of wood for charcoal. Getting iron ore was also a big problem, so many gave up their craft and looked for other jobs, such as they employed as agricultural laborer and also migrated to the towns. Number 2, in some areas the government did grant access to the forest, but the iron smelters had to pay a very high tax on the forest department for every furnace they used. This reduced their income. It is also not possible for the poor smelters to give high duties on every furnace they used. Number 3, by the late 19th century, iron and steel were being imported from Britain. Iron smiths in India began using the imported iron to manufacture utensils and implements, agricultural and kitchen implements. So this inevitably lowered the demand for iron produced by local smelters. So all these reasons caused the decline of the Indian iron smelting industry. So that's all from the answer of question number 9. Next question, what problems did the Indian textile industry face in the early years of its development? So there are several problems. The textile industry of India faced many problems in the first few decades of its existence, and the problems are: A. Competition. Competing with cheap textiles imported from Britain was difficult because these are made with machines and they can produce thousands of textiles within a day. That was not possible for the Indian weavers, because the Indian weaving industry still depend on the craftsmanship of the weavers. Number B, export. It was a challenge for them to export to England due to the huge export prices, because the governments of most of the European countries protected their local industries. But lack of support. T, the colonial government in India did not provide such protection to local industries. That strictly denied, openly denied to give any protection to the Indian textile industry, and also refused to impose duties on foreign cloths. Number C, failure. That English cotton textile ousted Indian textiles from its parent markets like America, Africa and Europe. And last one, number E, no buyers. Europeans started avoiding the weavers of Bengal and did not buy from them, and which made the Bengal weavers the worst hit. And in this way the textile industry faced severe problems in the early years of its development. Now the next one, it is question number 11, that what helped TISCO, Tata Iron and Steel Company, to expand steel production during the First World War? Answer is, before the First World War, India imported British steel for rails. When in 1914 the First World War broke out, steel produced in Britain now had to meet the demands of the war in Europe. So imports of British steel into India declined, and the Indian railways turned to TISCO for the supply of rails. Next paragraph, as the war dragged on for several years, TISCO had to produce shells and carriage wheels for the war. Okay, so they are now got the order from the British government to make shells and carriage wheels for wars. So by 1990, the colonial government was buying 90% of the steel manufactured by TISCO, and over the time TISCO became the biggest steel industry within the British Empire, entire British Empire. It is the biggest steel industry. Okay, so students, that's all from question number 11. And the last one, it is the project based question, though I have given the answer, that it is question number 13. On a map of India, locate the centers of different crops today. Find out when these centers came up. And a map is given in this slide. You can clearly see the places of different industries developed during the 19th century, 18th and 19th century India, like the plain white cotton textiles are produced in those star marked regions. Plus marked regions are famous for checks and stripes, the textile with checks and stripes. The diamond marked places famous for chintz production, such as Burhanpur, Siraj, etc., Patna, near Patna, and Kolkata also, Calcutta also. And the triangular shaped regions are famous for silk production, and these are also famous, those places, the triangular shaped places like Patan in Gujarat. Okay students, so that's all from the question answer session. Thank you for watching. So see you in the next class with the another subunit of chapter number 8.